Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Sunday Fun Day. I'm JD, aka Ragin Cajun Comics, if it's your first time watching it on the replay or live. Here is basically Comic and Collectible Treasures, episode 31. Wow. Again, I'm surprised that I'm always this high a number. I didn't think I would find that many friends. And I'm super honored and lucky to have people I've met through Instagram and YouTube. And today is another great guy, another Lego buddy. So I'm going back to back with Lego buddies. This guy's one of the sweetest guys I've ever met. We always DM each other. He always shows love. But please follow him. He has an amazing collection that he's been posting. But now we get to see a different side of him. He's been telling me little teases. So I can't wait to have him show off his treasures and just so you can get to know him better. Follow him. He's going to give some info on some other great community friends. So please give him a warm welcome to John Big Daddy Comics Ross. Boom. What's up, brother?
What's happening, JD? How are you doing today?
Doing great. Happy Sunday.
Yes. Sunday in October. We've got a little bit of Ian blowing through here where it's a little windy out there, but hey, it's all good. Sunday. We're off, right?
Yes. And then we were talking in the back and I saw the jersey and I was like, oh, in case you guys don't know, I'm a Dolphins fan, Patriots. For the last, 15, 20 years, not a fan of them, but
I don't blame you, man.
But I'm a fan of, so I like the jersey. Nice jersey, brother.
It's Brewski. You know, this is old school stuff.
Yes.
I swear, every time I wore my Gronkowski jersey, he'd get hurt. Every time.
Superstitions, yes.
Yeah, superstition. I tore my shirt the day that we lost to the Giants the first time. I'm like,
oh,
I tore it. I'm like, that's it. We're losing.
That was your only kryptonite, like out of everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get started, let's say hi to the chat. See who's hanging out with us on a Sunday. And here we go. Number one, TM. What's up, brother? One of my great friends, fanboy boy that we always kick back and talk, Kevin Smith. Hopefully we get that going again. Thanks for dropping by, brother. Yeah, we could have started 20 minutes early. Yes. Yeah, you have enough stuff to show. Yeah, I bet he does. Raging Cajun here showing some love. Welcome, brother. Rude Dog, what's up? Thanks for dropping by. We'll drop back later. Usually is busy doing his Sunday church, so say a good prayer for the Lord. Me just saying hi to everybody. Oh, last week, Candace, how are you? If you guys didn't catch it, check out the replay. She was there last week doing her stuff and showing some great stuff. And then it reminded you of one of your daughters, all the stuff that she was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I got lucky on that guess because I was thinking about how old my oldest is.
That's cool. Then everybody's saying hi. Oh, we got my lion bro, Something Wrong. What's up, brother? Thanks for dropping by. I know everybody's probably watching some football. Yeah. JT, what's up, brother? Station to you.
Welcome.
And looks like that's it for right now. Usually people, oh no, the lovely Ninja. Thank you for dropping by.
Thank you for stopping.
Oh, we got another brother, Tylux.
Travis, man. Yep.
One day I need to go down your guys' way and meet all of you guys. Yes, John. Everybody's looking forward to it. There you go. There's just some of your love right there.
There we go.
Boom, Zan. What's up, brother?
Welcome.
I love his reactions on his watching shows and everything. I love watching his shows.
I'm gonna have to check him out. That's somebody I'm not familiar with.
He also does video games where he plays games and just to see, because I'm okay in video games, but this guy he can play. I love when he plays online and plays other people, but I try not to watch him because I tell him I'm a jinx. Every time I put it on, he dies.
Yeah, my oldest streams on Twitch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's got an avatar and everything.
Oh, if you have her info, I'll throw it down. I'll put her on the description at the bottom so they can check her out. That's hardcore if you do that. All right. It looks like Yes, it was. It was amazing. Uh, I loved everything you showed, and I was able to get to know you even better. But the Legos, oh my, I'm waiting to see you finish those Harry Potters because I know I'll show those to my wife. All right.
I want to see her. I want to hear what she thinks of My Neighbor Totoro.
Oh,
You were talking about that last week,
yeah. So there you go. Candace, you got to DM him and talk a little about all that
she
stuff.
watched Kiki's Delivery Service, but
Yeah.
that whole Howl's Moving Castle and all those are great movies.
See, you found a fan, friends that you have something similar, which is amazing. All right, that looks like it's everybody right now. So, you know what I like to do at the beginning because only I forget to do it at the end. Introduce yourself, what state you're from, and where people can find you, or if you have shout outs, I'm even open for that. So go for it, brother. The floor is yours.
Okay, well, thank you. So I am John Ross. My nickname's Big Daddy. I got that in college. Uh, I've kind of embraced it because I'm a drag racing fan and Big Daddy Don Garlits and such. So I am big underscore daddies underscore comics on Instagram and also Big Daddy's Woodworking Shop, no underscore. That's my original IG. Um, I never really planned on getting on Instagram, but this guy, some of you might know, Skeet Ulrich. I was talking to him one day. He was like, "Hey, I do what he does woodworking," and I said, "How can I see your stuff?" He goes, "Instagram." So that's how I got on Instagram. But
Nice.
yeah, and it's evolved to this. But yeah, a few months back, my friend Will, he goes by the Comic Beast on YouTube. He interviewed me, wanted to see my top 10 books or 10 books that meant something to me. But I figure I didn't want to cover the same stuff that we talked about there. So if you're really bored and have an hour and a half, you can go over to Will and check that out. It'll show, I show some big books, but Will is the Comic Beast. I have picked up a couple books before we get into. I mentioned to JD that it's October, so I kind of have a theme today. But before we get into that, I have picked up a couple books before or since I saw Will. Little
Oh,
Avengers 4. Um, I've had this
nice.
book. I've had this book before, but I got rid of it, and I sold a lot of my books to put my kids through college. So now I'm recollecting. Wow! And then this book here.
Oh,
So this
beautiful.
is a book I've never owned. I did own a number one. I sold that to buy a pickup truck. Priorities, right?
Yes. Hey, life
But
comes when you have to.
yeah. Um, so yeah, like listening to you and Candace last week, it was interesting to me because um, I know I'm a lot older than most of the people in the community, but we have a lot of similar things that we're into. So
Yeah.
I got into comic books. This is comics and collectibles, so I'm going to be hitting both. But the first comic books I really started getting into, and I did look. I've got about 25,000 comic books right now, so I was digging a bit. But I just
Oh, yeah.
picked this up recently. The Casper cartoon show when I was a kid, it was the first thing I latched onto.
Yes. Top
Okay.
notch.
Yeah, and then some of those first comics that I started getting into were handed down to me from cousins and things like that. So I was getting into things like Bob Hope here,
Oh, yes.
which I just love the fact that there were monsters in it, you know.
Yeah. That's
And then
cool.
little Sugar and Spice,
That's my brother.
again, monsters, right?
Yes.
Well, and then of course you're watching TV and you get the Addams
Oh.
Family, you know.
Ah. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yeah. So those were the things that I was kind of introduced to as a young kid. This right here was the show that got me into superheroes. Spider-Man in '67. And then, of course, soon after that, this show scared me a
Oh
little
yes.
when I was young. But you had to love Scooby-Doo, and then you're coming home from school, and you got the Munsters,
Oh,
you got the Addams Family.
Adams. Yeah, monsters too.
So all of that type of stuff. So my early years were that type of stuff, but that kind of introduced me to
Claim the Scooby Doo. You are driving them crazy already.
yeah. So that was kind of my early years. I was born in '64, so I'll be 58 this week.
Yes, it's his birthday coming Friday. Yes, happy birthday. Yay.
Thank you. But I mean, as they say, and we'll get into this later, but as they say,
Freaking out over here.
I may be old, but I saw all of the good bands.
Yes.
So as as I got a little bit older, preteen, that type of stuff, Saturday afternoons were spent with my friends, collecting comic books, trading comic books, stuff like that. We'd be sitting on the porch. We talked, backstage. We'd watch pro wrestling. You'd watch cartoons, then you watch pro wrestling, and after pro wrestling, then came the stuff like the Hammer horror films.
Oh, those are classic.
You get Hammer horror. You would get, let's see here, the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, yes.
All great stuff. And of course, the best was the Universal.
Oh, Visible Man, yes.
Those movies, I mean, either I was trying very hard to stay up late,
Oh, he's born in the
watch
60s.
those movies. There we go. There are some people my age out there.
There you go.
I'm bringing on all the old people. So, we were into that. And then the other thing, our connection has kind of been through the Legos.
Yes.
But I mentioned that I was into building plastic models.
Mhm.
So, when you're a kid and you can buy a plastic model of stuff like this.
Oh, yeah, the classic car. Oh, yeah.
I was into drag racing. I was into cars. I was into custom cars, stuff like that. Yes, I have seen Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
I was going to say, there's your first question.
Great movies. I eat up everything I can. There we go. Good movie. Good movie. And it's funny that Candace mentions that because, as we started to get, into the late '60s, early '70s, those movies were the movies that were kind of introduced to me and introduced me to horror films, which I love. And behind me, there's a bunch of autographs. We're in my basement right now.
Excuse me.
As I started to get a little bit older, the comic books moved away from Casper. I'd started buying Spider-Man, things like that. But then you start getting into, Star Trek, Lost in Space.
Dude, those colors are beautiful. Those catch my
These are all painted covers, Gold Keys.
Gold Key, yes.
Twilight Zone, Boris Karloff's, and these things, we just loved this stuff as kids because, it was scary,
Yes.
So I grew up, as I mentioned on Will's channel, I grew up in a small town and could not buy, we're talking small, 750 people, one traffic light. And I lived at the corner of that traffic light. Yeah, there's some Dells around too. So,
Yeah.
But I could not buy comic books in my town. But what I could get was things like, let me see here. this.
Oh, nice.
Famous Monsters of Filmland. You know, it was a fanzine.
Oh, yes.
And that, you know, exposed me to movies that I had never seen or ever heard of, you know. And, you know, so you'd see these movies playing late at night, or, you know, we had Chili Billy Cardilli in Pittsburgh. People that know him, he's in the original Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, nice.
He's an actor in there. So you know, we would get these books, and then that would cause me to, you know, reading these made me want to watch the movies, go find the movies, and then you get these cool ads on the back for these models. So I had to go out and buy all the models.
Those are cool.
Actually,
I love the Dracula one. The Dracula one's awesome.
I actually have them all off to the side, but yeah, you know, so you're starting with those, and then that was a Warren publication, and with Warren publications, you start getting into, you know, I couldn't get comic books, but I could get Eerie.
Yes.
I could get the Savage Sword of Conan, which is a Marvel book.
Oh, beautiful one.
You know, Creepy.
Yep.
And then Vampirella.
Vampirella, yeah.
You know,
those monsters is funny because I picked up when I went with Batmite to the flea market. I just picked up the 1974 annual because that's my year.
Okay.
And I go, and the guy's like, had nothing but horror monster books and horror books, and he was like, which one are you looking for? I go, the 74. I go, I remember it because my brother used to collect them, and then I just wanted it for my year, so I was like, I had to get it for my year. Those are amazing. I
just picked those up at my local comic shop. I don't see them very frequently.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I've got to buy these, you know. And I got my discount, you know, so it's like I gotta take these. But
here's your next
yes, I am Travis. definitely. And then as we, you know, kind of progressed into the 70s, this show came along.
Oh, yep.
Are you familiar with this?
Yeah, my brother would watch that.
Yeah, this show was great. Had all the, you know, my first, I would say, adult type TV show that I would watch. But, you know, as a kid, we would also get, you know, out of Famous Monsters, there's all these cool ads in the back, and you could order 8mm films.
Oh, cool.
So this is, and you know, you're thinking you're getting the whole movie. No, you're getting like 10 minutes.
Yes.
That's it. Like, this is it, you know. But yeah, so we would get into that kind of stuff. Yeah, so as we progress through, what do we got here?
Rudy just jumped back.
Hey, Rudy, he's back in. Another just cool thing that we were collecting at the time was these stickers.
Oh, nice.
And I don't see these very often, but they're a lot of fun. And they have
nice.
Funny, you know, little funny sayings, you know, and they're all we'd collect these as kids. And I bought these on eBay probably 20 years ago.
Those are cool.
Been hanging on to them. But a lot of fun stuff. And then, you know, of course, you start to get into the later 70s, and a certain band hits the scene.
Oh yeah.
You know? I mean, if you were a preteen in the 70s, you know, chances are, at least for a couple days, you were a fan. You know? They were on, you know, Merv Griffin, and they had, you know, they'd put all kinds of junk. The stickers were in a pack, Candace, just with bubble gum, just like baseball cards.
Oh, baseball cards. Nice.
Yep. And then, you know, after that, you buy the first Kiss Alive album, I think was the big one. But when this one hit,
Yeah.
Everybody see Gene here with blood pouring out of his mouth.
Mhm.
And then you get this gatefold.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And it was just like, yeah. And the albums always came with lots of stuff in them, little flyers and
Yes, he is. Yeah, those like my parents didn't like horror or scary movies because they thought they were the devil. So I had to watch them through my nephew. So when I go to my nephews, that's when I would go. And my first concert was like hard rock. I saw AC/DC.
wow.
And yeah,
first show.
yes, because my godfather had two of us. He had two godsons, and then he would want whatever we wanted, he would do for us because he didn't have any kids. And he was like, "Oh, whatever you want to do, let's do." I'm all AC/DC. And my little nephew would be like, "Yeah, let's go." So I remember watching them, and then Kiss. I saw Kiss just because of the paint, and I was like, "Oh, I need to go see them." Oh man, when you showed that album, that I just brought my childhood back.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw AC/DC for the first time about 10 years ago, but I had an opportunity to see them with Bon Scott.
Nice.
Just couldn't get the money together because I was young. And then I had tickets to see them in Pittsburgh on the Back in Black tour. They were playing the Stanley Theater. Hello, hello. They were playing the Stanley Theater, and it snowed really bad, and we just couldn't get to the show. So we ended up losing the money on the tickets and everything. But yeah, so I've always been, we talk a bit when we're in the different groups about our different interests, and we talked a little bit about sports, but this thing right here I've had since the 70s,
Oh wow.
and it's every concert ticket for every show I've ever been to,
Nice.
and there's hundreds of them.
Nice.
So as I said, I may be old, but I've seen all the good bands.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I had tickets to see Led Zeppelin when Bonham died. Ended up, getting a refund. Original Leonard
Oh,
Skinner. I've seen
nice.
Skinner a couple times, but where I'm from, everybody cried when that plane crashed. Yeah.
Yes.
Gene and Paul are assholes, and I will tell you, Peter is one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet.
Nice.
He's super nice guy. He
That's
just
sick.
hung out and talked with us, and my daughter and I. The handlers were real jerks, but he was super cool.
Oh, nice.
Maiden this Sunday. I'm going to
Nice.
see him in Worcester on the 17th, I think it is.
Sweet.
So yeah, I mean, if we got a Maiden fan in here, I saw. All right, hang on a second here. All right,
yeah, Katie going.
Here's one that people get worked up over.
Oh, I'm jelly right there, dude. Oh, that's sick.
$8.75 to see Queen.
I wish I would have seen them. I love their music.
Yeah. Let's see here. I've got I saw the Black and Blue tour with Black Sabbath and Blue Oyster Cult. That's with Ronnie James Dio singing. So that was like the Heaven and Hell tour. That one set me back like $7.
A whole $7.
Yeah, whole seven. Bruce Springsteen for $9.75 on the River tour. This one here's a good one too.
Oh, nice.
That's a month before Randy Rhoads died in the plane crash.
Oh,
I got to see Randy before he passed. And they just did there's just been a
yes,
a show. I think it's on Netflix. But let's see here. We're into the 80s. Yeah, there's some pictures of Randy
That's sick.
and the article from the plane crash. But and it was weird because the guitar player for my band and I were going to skip school and go to a guitar tech class or guitar class that he was doing, and just didn't do it, and
Mhm.
I regret it. But here's one for the Maiden fans and Priest fans.
Nice.
Judas Priest and Iron Maiden on the Screaming for Vengeance and Number of the Beast toured
That's a combo right there, man.
together. So
Dang.
big show. And my daughter came down the other day with the shirt from this show. Oh, that Iron Maiden. I mentioned it in the interview with Will, but the Iron Maiden shirt that I bought at that show was a Texas tour shirt. My daughter wore it to 80s Day at school, and then I put it on eBay and sold it for over $750.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to some Hollywood boutique. So I'm sure they marked it up,
Oh,
good.
yeah. That's sick.
But and then you know Van
Oh,
Halen.
Van Halen. Hell yeah.
That's this is Diver Down tour. Um, I think we had 28 tickets for that show. If you've ever seen the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High, I was that kid that was scalping tickets. we, we would. I was always trying to figure out a way to make a buck, and we would go camp. Me and my buddy Harold, we'd go and we would camp out all night, stand in line, and get tickets for all the shows. But I mean, that's a few shows. I mean, there's a ton in here. Rush and all of the. I've seen Maiden. This will be my fourth time seeing Maiden.
Nice. Dude,
and
that's sick.
I've seen
I do the
Kiss.
same. I do the same thing. I have my tickets. I still haven't boxed all my boxes in the garage,
Yeah.
and I do have my tickets from my shows. The only one I'm sad that I don't have is my ACDC because I was too
Just
young,
too young, right? Yeah, I do.
and I didn't. I wish I kept that one, but back then I was what? I was barely 8.
That's probably about the age I was when I went to my first show with my parents, and I don't have that ticket. But that was Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass.
Nice. Hey, that started it all, right? That's a
Yeah,
good thing.
yeah.
I I'll always have my heart always with rock and roll. I love it. And dude, you just blew my mind with some of those tickets right there. I wish I had some of those still.
Yeah, I think I've seen Kiss, I don't know, 6 or 7 times,
Nice.
um, with some great opening bands. I mean, Wasp and Queensryche and
Yep.
stuff like that. I mean, they were never one to shy away from. I saw them with double headline with Aerosmith in Boston. So they came out before Aerosmith, put on a show. Aerosmith comes out, opens up with Let the Music Do the Talking, as a kind of a, hey, we're not all, show. And yeah, I think 4 or 5 songs on, everybody's walking out.
What's up, Glenn?
Glenn, how you
Yeah, but
doing?
you got to see them at the beginning stages. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Like bands now times when I was going, it was like Linkin Park. People were walking out of Linkin Park. They became big. Uh,
Seen them
uh,
twice.
yeah,
And I
Motley
think
Crue.
I
When I
saw
saw them in the whiskey bar, and they would walk out on them,
Ooh,
and I'm like, dude, this is great music. Why are you guys leaving? And I was able to see them at the beginning, so I was in heaven.
that's cool. Yeah, I saw Crew on Shout at the Devil.
Oh, nice.
That was the first time I saw him. I've seen him a couple times.
I'm
And
trying to get
then
the guitar from my friend. Her ex-husband used to be their bouncer anytime they came through LA.
okay,
So they would sign a guitar every time. So she has like 20 guitars, and she says she wants to give me one because she knew how much
nice,
of a fan I was. I was like,
nice.
oh, I'm waiting. Well, where's the guitar? I want that. Dude.
If this would have been 6 months or so ago, I'd probably be showing guitars, but I've traded off all my guitars for comic books.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I had oh man, a Gibson Les Paul Gold Top, a Fender Tele, a Fender Strat, a Brian Setzer Gresh Nashville, So either sold them off or traded them off. But I got some good comic books from them for them. So you know,
Hey,
I'm not, I'm not
that's
playing
old school.
much.
You get
Yeah,
old school right there, blood right there, because you get the way it was always trading. Because when I was a kid, I was trading GI
yep,
or my mom gave them away. I would
yeah,
chase for He-Man's for Star Wars. So that's how I did it when I was a kid.
yeah. I was the 12-inch GI Joes, and I gave them all to my nephews, and they've been scattered to the wind now. I. It's funny because you mentioned shouting out people. Scheme Richards. If people don't follow Scheme, you need to follow him. But he's the
Yeah,
nostalgic king, and the stuff he posts, I just sit there and go, "Oh man!" And then he'll
yeah.
post it, and I'll go on eBay and I'll be checking. I'm like, "Oh, do I really need this? No, I don't need this. I cannot buy this." It's like no, no. But like
Yeah.
I was too old to play with Star Trek to or the little Star Wars figures and stuff like that. So
Oh, he saw Queen in '86. Oh, there you go.
nice.
Yeah. In
The
accessories.
Alarm. I was at the
Yeah.
show that MTV did at UCLA. That was
Yeah.
they had a free show at the UCLA. That was a good show. I love the Alarm. Good band.
Dang. You
Yeah,
got
because
the
I
nostalgia.
was stationed in San Diego, so I was in
Oh, okay.
California for a while.
I thank you for serving, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
But yeah, yeah. So as we get into more of the high school years, I started getting into comic books a little more seriously, I would say. And a friend of mine turned me on to the Overstreet comic
Yeah.
book price guide. And it's oh man, it's so hard to look through these now because you want an Incredible Hulk 181. It's like this. Should have I should have tagged it in here, but when I first started collecting, an Incredible Hulk 181 would set you back $1.20 in mint.
I wish I would have picked mine up for $300 when I
Yeah,
was like into it.
oh man, I sold off two. I think one was an 8, and one was an 8.5, and I know that was when the kids were in school, so I didn't get near what they blew up to. But
Yeah.
well, it is what it is.
Hey, family first, right? Like I
That's
always
it.
say.
Well, so then one day we would go to the movies, the cinemas on Wednesday because you could see two movies for $1. And I wanted to go see Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, nice.
So we went and we saw it. And the second movie was what has become probably my favorite horror film.
Oh, that scared the crap out of me. Remember Z Channel?
No,
Okay, that was like one of the first cable channels ever. It was one channel and it cost you $50 a month. My brother got it and I saw that and I was scared for like a month and a half. That scared me when I was a kid.
yeah, it's such a great movie. Practical effects and
Yes.
you know, it's so cool to like watch how they made a lot of that stuff. The classic lines, Kurt
You got me
Russell,
jumped off my seat.
great stuff. And to just
Wow.
walk in and have this movie, the opening scene. I'm not going to talk about it all because I think everybody should see that movie not knowing anything about it. Because
Yeah.
that's the way I saw it. I walked in, I didn't know anything about it. You got that opening scene, and you're just sitting there like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
You know?
Ahead of its time, and I don't know how they did those special effects. The whole thing's great, other than maybe a part that was cheesy, but it did not affect the whole movie. That
Yeah.
movie, oh my god.
I mean, it was made in the 80s. So
Yes.
there is, it's not. There we go.
There
Cool.
you go.
Oh, I'm gonna. All right,
I
Candace, I
gotta
gotta
see
know
this.
where this is. I'm gonna have to go check this out.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Great movie. I'm interested to see what your thoughts are. But yes, I mean there is some of that cheesiness because it's the
Yeah,
80s. It's not.
but it doesn't take away from the movie. It was so good.
Yeah.
Oh man, now I gotta go watch it. I have it on DVD.
My youngest she just left a little bit ago. She was here running her dog in the yard, and oh,
Oh,
cool.
nice.
Oh, this is going to
Yeah.
be interesting to. I've got to sit and watch that with them in the chat or whatever. But yeah, we were talking about movies that we're watching, because it's spooky season.
Yeah.
It's what we want. So I mentioned earlier that actually, when we were in the background, I had a friend, Bill, quite a bit older than me. I met him through my sister, and he used to take me to the wrestling matches because his grandfather loved wrestling, and I loved wrestling as a kid. So Bill would take me because he didn't know anything about wrestling, and he wanted somebody to talk to his grandfather. So I got to see Andre and Bruno Sammartino and a lot of those greats from that time period. But the other thing that he turned me on to was this.
Oh, nice. Oh my God.
So these are reprints from the late 70s and early 80s. You can find them on eBay.
Nice.
They go for a little bit of money, but they're beautiful reprints of the original EC books.
I'm
And
Wong and Glenn should be loving that right now.
just love. I'd never been, that this price guide was my first introduction to EC comics at all. And when I said, "Hey, this is something that like looks interesting to me," he's like, "Oh, you got to check these out." And then that's where I started like reading them, and just fell in love. And of course, back then, as a kid in school, I had money, probably more money than a lot of kids, because I didn't play sports when I was in high school. I'd gotten injured in junior high and just didn't bother with it. So I had a job all through high school. So I always had money, and that allowed me to go buy records, go to concerts, things like that. So yeah, that was kind of the high school years and that. So I went into the Navy, and I was on submarines for I was on the sub 4.5 years. I was in the Navy 6. Met my wife. We moved back here to Rhode Island. I sold my whole comic book collection to buy a camera body before we went on Westpac, which we went to Japan and Hong Kong and the Philippines and a few other unnamed places. But I kind of got out of everything, and then we moved back. We moved here to Rhode Island. As I said, I'm originally from West Virginia, just outside of Pittsburgh.
Oh, nice.
But I got the bug again, and I started buying comic books. And it was like I've always been a Spider-Man guy, so that's kind of where I started getting into it. And as we've all done, we've all kind of gotten in and out. We sell off stuff and things like that. But I was never one of the things that I was never really into was video games.
Oh.
I couldn't get my head around popping quarters. My buddy Harold, we'd be driving around. We were the ones always going to concerts together. And I can remember he'd be driving. He knew where all of the Donkey Kong machines were. And we'd pull up. We worked together too. And he'd be dropping quarters in Donkey Kong. And I'm like, dude, I like my money too much. I can't do this. I just can't. I don't get it. But then we had kids. And so once we had kids, this game.
Oh, yeah. Zelda, baby.
This game here was the first game that I ever sat down and just played for hours on end. And when I show that, I have to show this because we don't see these very frequently.
That is cool.
And it's got the controller too. But my
I
oldest,
dropped so many quarters.
yeah.
You just made people go crazy with that Pikachu thing. I didn't follow that, and I'm not gonna lie about it, but I did love Zelda. I would play that for days,
Yeah, I
man.
mean, my oldest was into Pokemon, so I'm buying the things that she wants. It's Christmas, or she was born 2 weeks before Christmas, so she would always kind of get good stuff on her birthday because it was so close to Christmas. But yeah, so then right now, as I said, I'm in the basement. I've got an 8-foot screen, and I think we've got about 15 gaming systems plugged into it.
Oh, dang.
All the Xboxes, Sega Dreamcast,
Oh, I love
all
that
the
system.
Nintendo systems, and hundreds of games. But yeah, I mean, Pokemon Snap was the one that I played probably the most of the Pokemon games. But
Like,
I'd sit there and watch my kids play, and I'd play against them and stuff, in what was it, Coliseum or whatever, and things like that. But
K-pop beat me to it. The Dreamcast and Saturn never got the love. I totally agree, and that was a beautiful system.
yeah, Dreamcast for me, uh, we would have these parties where we would play Soul Calibur, and we'd all be sitting on the couch. It'd be, or in front of the couch and on the couch. And if you lost, you had to pass the controller, and see who would win through the
Nice,
course of the night. We're all drinking, because we're adults. But yeah, Soul Calibur, Hydro Thunder, and Crazy Taxi. Those three
nice.
games. I bought a Dreamcast just for those three games, because those were games. I wouldn't put quarters in the machine, but then we would go to Dave and Buster's and play those games and spend God knows how much money.
Yeah, I would go to Dave and Buster's just to play the shuffleboard, which I bought. I have in my
Okay.
family room, and just have a couple of beers with my friends and just play for hours.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, that's
It's
oh,
a
you're
lot of
hitting like
fun.
every barrier.
Yeah. Yeah. I listen to your shows. It's like I'm seeing I'm seeing what people are into.
There you go. See?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's cool. Like I thank my brother for all that because I was getting into ColecoVision, their Atari, because he loved video games, and I played Pong, like one of the first games ever.
Right.
And dude, when you just showed Zelda, oh, you just hit one of my favorite games. Like I need to buy the last three from the Switch because I haven't played those, and I'm dying to play them. Those are like games.
Yeah. My youngest walked off with the Switch. It's at her apartment, so I'm kind of out of it right now. Well,
Yeah.
that sounds like a lot of fun.
Like I put my original Game Boy in a little case right there, and it has my Tetris and the
Oh,
original case.
that is the one system out of all the systems we have. That's the only one we don't that we owned, that like I sold at a yard sale.
Oh,
I've got to get an original Game Boy and
that was
Tetris at some point.
yeah, I love it. Yeah, that one I've had for I don't know how long, and I was moving here, and I put it in a box when I moved to my old place, and I couldn't find it, and I was going through my storage, like going frantically trying to find it, just because it reminds me as my brother when I was a kid. So I was like, when I found it, I was like, yes, put it in the case. Oh, Super Nintendo, nice.
Oh,
So now you're hitting everybody.
yeah, we've got two Game Cubes and a couple Game Boy. A lot of times I would buy two systems because the kids would be fighting, and I'm just like, here, I don't want to hear it. But my wife wanted a Cadillac Escalade back in the early to mid 2000s. That
Mm,
first year where they really changed it from the Chevy. Wasn't didn't just look like the Chevy. And she wanted that pearl white uh, paint job. It was so early they didn't even put chrome wheels were not even an option.
mhm.
You know, I ended up buying chrome Cadillac wheels the next year on eBay because they offered them the following year. But traveling from Rhode Island to Pittsburgh is about a 10 to 12-hour drive, and with 2 young kids, it was a little bit much. So I took that thing to Tweeter and had them put a PlayStation 2 and headrest monitors in it.
Oh, you get one of those? That's cool.
So, and my wife was like, "You spent how much?" And I'm like, "Don't worry about it." We went to the first trip to West Virginia. Boom. Yeah, that was worth it. Kids sat there, watched movies, played video games. We're listening to music in the front. You know, they got headphones on.
That's
Totally
the best way. That is cool. I always wanted to trick up my car like that so you can be playing a Nintendo 64 while you're in the passenger seat. That would be cool.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. We did it once, then it became, something you could just buy. Now you can get them in a car if you want. But
yeah,
and now everybody's got, their iPads and such. These guys are funny.
These guys are hilarious.
Yeah,
that is cool.
So I got a few more things. I mean,
okay.
I mentioned earlier that Big Daddy's Woodworking Shop is my original Instagram account, and talked about collecting, because we're talking about collectibles. Now that I'm older and my kids are grown, I can buy things that I want. So I buy a lot of fancy tools that I use.
Nice.
They're not, but this is from Australia. This is a Vesper marking gauge, and I put them to use because I make stuff like this. And this is just a practice leg for a table, but it's all inlaid. It's got sand shaded tulips. There needs to be a third one down here, but banding around the leg and stuff.
That's amazing.
So normally on a Sunday, that's my relaxation is to do some furniture building. But I also I got into comic collecting again about 2.5 years ago. I've had my Instagram. That's good.
These guys are cracking each other up.
Good. I'm glad.
I love it.
If you can't laugh with me, laugh at me. I don't care.
No, they're making fun of each other.
I know they are.
Oh,
so,
my God.
Now that I'm older, I can also afford to get the
the
real deal. I posted this one on my IG yesterday.
Yes. Oh my God.
I've got a few. Had a few come and go. They're harder to find now. And then, as you mentioned earlier, you guys are always talking about Kevin Smith movies. I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of. I always miss Kevin. Something always happens, and Kevin can't make it, or some weird stuff. But I met just about everybody else. This one was one of my favorites.
Oh, that's cool.
I love Joey Lauren Adams. I love her. What else we got here? Well, seeing as it's Halloween season, these are all ones that haven't been hung up on the wall yet. They need framed, but this is Sleepaway Camp. If you've seen the end of that movie,
I claim first. Oh,
I'm a big fan of this show.
Yeah, that was great. Oh,
and I just love him. I love him from Braveheart. What else we got going here? Again, spooky season.
Oh, that scared me. That movie scared me.
That movie scares a lot of people.
Yes.
And then of course you guys, I know you and I know Candace and some of them through. You guys have got me away from the models and into the Legos. I stopped at Walmart today and picked up a small Lego, so I have one sitting around waiting if we do a show, because I know you've been shouting everybody out.
Tell me you got the 007 so we can build it together.
I did not, and I did that intentionally. I'm like, I don't want to build the same thing that you are. I thought, I just thought it would be I
No.
didn't think you would appreciate it.
I would love it because we have the same taste.
I don't have any tattoos, but I was actually talking to somebody recently about starting, 'cause I'd like to get my sleeves. But,
Legos, yes.
yeah.
Justin, if you watch the replay, you're lagging. Come on, let's get a Lego session going.
Yep.
We need to talk Legos and just hang out, dude. That Batman, you built that fast.
Oh yeah, I'm one to sit down and just crank stuff
Yeah.
out. But my job is I'm an operations manager for a manufacturing plant, so I'm always thinking in order and how to do stuff.
Uh-huh.
The porn collection, you don't have those anymore. Funny story. This ceiling that's right above me. When we bought this house, I ended up having to move some ceiling tiles, and I don't know who in the family, but somebody had stashed some VHS porn tapes in one of the ceiling tiles. I
Oh,
found it, changing it over.
you should get it graded and sell it to Glenn.
Oh yeah,
Or was it Wong? I think it was Wong.
I'm gonna have to read the chat afterwards.
Yeah.
But,
This is hilarious.
but I've got one more thing. We
Okay.
talked a little bit about the classic monsters, stuff like that, as we're starting to approach that 1 hour. I just kind of struck on these. Like I said, I've got a home theater down here in the basement, and I like movie posters and autographs and stuff like that to decorate it. And I found these, and I'm up to 7 now, but there's a few more I'd like to find and pick up. But these are castings of actual actors' faces.
Yeah.
And they were generally used, sometimes they're called death masks. They would do them if somebody passed away, they would make a death mask. But these are from the castings when they would do makeup. So this is Boris Karloff, and it's either Frankenstein or the Mummy.
That is cool.
One of those. And then this is Bela Lugosi.
Oh yeah.
And like you can see like the moles on his
Yeah,
face.
the mold, yeah.
You can see the pores. I mean, up close, you can see like the pores in their skin, everything. It's crazy. And then this one here is Vincent Price.
That's cool.
And I've also got Anthony Hopkins, Marlon Brando, Jack Nicholson from the Joker. I've got his Joker.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, like he's smiling so they could make the prosthetics for when he was the Joker. And then, of course, my kids made me get Johnny Depp because they love Jack Sparrow.
I'm on Jack Sparrow, yes.
Yeah.
Glenn, I need a tissue. Yes.
So that is all I brought.
Question: how did you get those?
The masks?
Yes.
I got those on eBay. Yeah, I got those on eBay, and I think there's people that are still doing them. I think the original guy that I bought them from, I don't know if he sold the business or if he passed, but he would put the gold paint and everything on them. I do see them in the on eBay.
Oh, Katie just coming out more and more. She's hilarious.
I'm fine with it. I do find like some people take and they'll carve them so that the eyes are open. I don't particularly like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have seen them where they're not painted or anything. So they are available and they are on eBay.
Okay.
And I would assume that there's other ways to get them. I just haven't really. Right now, I don't have a lot of wall space. Things are starting to fill in pretty good. There you go.
All right. Before we see, you said one more thing? You had one
No,
more thing?
that was
it. So before we take off, and you made this hour fly because so many amazing things. I have the one question at the end that our buddy Rudy brought up, which you already covered. But if you had to choose, and I know it's hard to choose, we'll go genre if you want. Your favorite group or solo artist. You can do either or both.
Ooh,
Like
man.
one that I know there's many, and there's so many good ones, and you've seen so many good ones. One that just blew your mind, like Prince when he did the performance at Staples when he fell like a year before. That's one that I'll never forget because he did an hour and a half acoustic because
Okay.
he missed out. And that concert would always be etched in my brain. You know, God forbid I can't remember anymore, but that's one that's going to be with me for my lifetime.
Well, I know we were talking on, I think, one of the Lego channels or one of the Lego shows on Justin's. Um, Two of my favorite shows have been Rammstein. Rammstein puts on an amazing show. The energy is just something else. And Muse.
Oh, nice.
Muse.
Yeah, I remember
Muse
you
really,
talking about that.
yeah,
Yes.
Muse really surprised me. I just like the music, and I just kind of bought tickets on a whim. But those two stand out. I mean, one of my favorite performances, I got to see Chester and
Oh,
oh man, I just blanked his name. Lead singer for Soundgarden,
ooh.
Chris Cornell.
Yeah, there you go.
I got to see them do Hunger Strike
Oh,
together,
nice.
and that was just like a song that I really love, and to see them do it together was really nice. And now they're both gone.
Yeah.
Um, I don't have I my music. I change music all the time. I mean, I was listening to Eminem all day yesterday. Um, Never know what I'm going to be listening to, but
Nice.
I mean, if I was, man, it's like that Desert Island Discs thing, right? If you could only have so many albums, that's just really hard. I
Yeah.
I guess I would have to drop back to, like Kiss Alive would probably be the if I only had one album, that would probably be the album. But I mean, I like all kinds of music. I listen to country. I like old country, Johnny Cash, stuff like that.
Johnny Cash's
I
class. I was
listen.
listening to him yesterday.
Yeah, I was. I grew up on outlaw country with. My father was into that. But then, I've seen Alice Cooper a couple times. I've seen Ghost. I've seen Marilyn Manson. Um, Japanese and Finnish bands also go hard live. Yeah,
Mhm.
I I've got an album down there, a band called Saber Bells, which we were in Japan and we just heard this band like rocking out. So we walk into the club and we ended up partying with them that night. I've got pictures of them flipping me off after the show's over, all kinds of stuff. And they all signed my album. But yeah, I mean, yeah, 80s pop, or alternative, Psychedelic Furs and Tears for Fears and the Smiths, and I saw John R before. Yeah. So I love all kinds of music. Uh, I have no problem getting in the mosh pit, and I've seen, I always said that I don't care for those bands that have that Cookie Monster vocals, but when you go see them live, it's different. The energy's there,
Mhm.
and it doesn't phase me at all. I love it.
Yep.
Uh, Show that D. Snyder autograph.
Yep. I goes, there's your request.
There's there's D. And
Sick.
I was telling JD before the show. Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard Trans Siberian Orchestra is really good. I was telling JD, we always wonder what to talk about at when we meet these people. And when I met him, we talked about the station nightclub fire because I almost went to that show that night. That happened about a mile from where I work, and 100 people died, and he did a fundraiser. So that's what we talked about. It was really pretty emotional conversation because one of the victims was there that had been burnt really bad, and was just kind of there hanging out. And that was one of the things that D said. He said that this guy doesn't like to go out very much because, of his looks. He's pretty badly burnt. But yeah, Ty Lux, you like that? Here's we talked about Manson. There's Twiggy Ramirez.
Oh, Twig. Yeah.
So
sick.
I mean, Rocket Shock up in Worcester was just a good time. I mean, they would bring in all kinds of bands. I saw Typo Negative and the Misfits and Gore, and they put Danny Trejo through the meat machine in the Gore show, like shot blood all over the audience. Yeah, everybody was getting into it. It was fun. And after the convention was over, most of the people that were, like the stars would go to the concerts. So you'd be standing there next to Danny Trejo and Sid Haig and, all these other cool people, But,
man, that's amazing.
Yeah, Gore is an experience. When you go to a show and you're watching them set up and they're wrapping like the whole first 5 rows in plastic, something's gonna happen. Yes, Pete Steele, man, that was just a really great show, and one of my favorite bands to just kind of sit back and listen to. But yeah, I couldn't sit here and say I have a favorite band because on any given day, I'll be listening to James Taylor, Jimmy Buffett. I was riding around on the lawn tractor. I'm trying to expose myself to more hip hop that I never listened to.
Okay.
So I'm riding around mowing my lawn listening to the Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh,
that's just something that I never really got into. So that's something we talked, I'm thinking I've kind of contemplated starting up a YouTube channel in which I talk to people in the community about music.
There you go.
You tell me why I should listen to it.
Oh, because okay.
Morbius, he's the hip hop guy. Tyler, he's into a lot of the screamo type stuff. Yeah, I was lucky to see him with Dave too.
Yeah.
And just to get me interested into other music because I get bored. I mean, the reality of it is there's a lot of albums that I don't care if I ever hear again.
Yeah.
And then some of these reaction channels will get me to kind of open my eyes and go, oh yeah, maybe I should give that another shot.
But, yeah, like Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers is my favorite album from them.
Okay.
Then it's one that's East Coast flavor, so the beats are different compared to West Coast, which I'm from California. Right. So, I listen to NWA. They brought gangster rap into the fold.
So, like, I've seen Run DMC. I listened to Run DMC. Classic. I listened to a lot of that early stuff, and I would say NWA. I would listen to NWA. It was funny because I'm driving around with my kids in the car, driving a green Taurus station wagon, listening to NWA.
Yeah, I like it that you have such variety, which I think I'm in the same boat with you. Because my phone, I get the biggest one with the 256 gigs or whatever, megabytes, whatever it has. And I put everything I have in there. So I put it on shuffle so I can jump from Motley Crue to some classical music to all the way down to like NWA will play. Or right. I'll even have Taylor Swift because my wife got me into Taylor Swift because she likes Taylor Swift. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll listen to this.
She lives, she's got a house not too far from me.
Oh, nice. So
I never see her, but she does.
Yeah. I'll listen to everything. Run DMC is classic. Can't go wrong with them. But
yeah, I mean, another great performance. I saw Aerosmith with Kid Rock and Run DMC.
Nice.
And Run DMC was at the front of the stage in front of the curtain. And they went into the King of Rock, and the curtain lifted and Kids Rock Band came out and played backup for him.
Nice.
And then at the end, they all did "Walk This Way" together.
Oh, sweet.
So that was just a lot of, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, like I had a Foo Fighters concert. I think I told you when we were doing the Legos, and it was Dave's birthday, and he had a bunch of people come out and play with him. Like David Lee Roth came out and they just played Van Halen songs.
I've watched some of those videos on YouTube. You were at that?
Yeah, I
Oh, that's awesome.
I was in heaven. Motormouth was there, dude. They had a bunch of groups, and they played for like 4 hours. And he's like, "Dude, this is my birthday. I don't effing care how long I'm gonna be here. Let's
That's
celebrate."
awesome.
Yeah, dude.
And those
But
are the
you,
shows that you remember.
yes, but you brought up some memories. You got the crowd going, like the all our friends here going crazy, man.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it. I
No, I
tried
had
to
a
bring
blast.
something different, and it got me looking at a lot of stuff that, quite honestly, I walk by every day and kind of forget that I even have.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
You
I've got to, I've got to get with Tyler, and he's another one that I would really like to listen. Sit down and just listen to some of this stuff. Now, I get that um, some of it's something you're just going to sit and listen to. Some of it, you got to go there, and I like going to see. I still go see live bands.
yeah.
Like I said, we're going to see Iron Maiden in a couple weeks. So I'm kind of excited for that show. That's my first big show since COVID. But I saw Liz Fair. She was the last one that I saw.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Jeff
I would love
John,
to see that show. Do you and Tylox, I would love to see that because I would like to see how you pick his brain and just to see some of the bands he likes because he pulls out some vinyls and I'm like, oh, that's something I haven't dabbled in, but I would love to hear.
right?
And then just to hear that, yeah, I'm totally open to listen to everything.
Well, it's funny because when I was living in California, I was into um, mostly like Depeche Mode and stuff like that. A lot of that alternative music of that
Yep.
time period. And my roommate was into Metallica and the big four:
Yep.
Anthrax, Metallica, Megadeth, and Slayer. And he would come in, and I can remember I owned the stereo. So he'd come in, and I remember him coming in with like Ride the Lightning and going, "This just came out today. Can I play it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then me leaving because I'm like, "That's just noise." And what happened was when I got into lifting, my lifting partner was into Metallica, and he got me listening to Metallica. I've seen, so
You
I've
got it
seen,
right. I'll shoot it right in a little bit,
yeah,
Tyler. We can talk. Yeah, like another group. You just had Rudy Depeche Mode. I seen Depeche Mode every time they came in California. I missed them once, or actually
wow,
twice. One, my mother, which I think was the greatest concert because my nephew told me, is when they played at the Rose Bowl for the Black Celebration back in
yeah,
'88.
that was a great album. I remember buying that the day
Yes.
it came out.
Oh my God. And I was so sad I missed it. And I went to a wedding in Chicago and they were here. And I had to give my tickets away to a good friend. But my wife knew how boiling I was because I try not to miss Pro Jam and Depeche Mode are like two, and The Cure are some of the ones that I always try not to miss. Cure
It's
just gives that mode that gets me mellow. I don't know why. Maybe because it's depressing music on certain points,
I
but
like The Cure.
yeah.
That's the only concert I've ever been kicked out of. The Cure. I,
Nice.
I was with my wife and another couple, and the woman and the other couple got really drunk. So The Cure is getting ready to come on stage, and two cops come walking up, and they're like, "Bob," and I'm like, "You got to come with us." So we all go marching off. She was so drunk she could barely walk. Like, you got to
Wow.
get her out of here. So I got to see a few songs, but that was about it.
Oh,
But just a little funny side story. I was in Pearl Harbor.
yeah.
We were in Honolulu, and there was a bar called the Wave that was out there that everybody went to. And outside, they had a T-shirt shack. So this would have been 1985. And outside, there's a T-shirt shack, and they had all these different T-shirts. So I bought one that said, "Who give a F what Frankies say. Okay. And the dude running the shack goes, the band just walked into the wave. So we were going in anyway. So I pull the shirt on and we go walking in. And sure enough, there's the band.
Nice.
And the only one that wasn't there was Holly, because that was when they were starting to fight and the band was getting ready to break up.
Mhm.
And we ended up partying with them for 2 nights.
Oh,
Just
nice.
hanging out at the bar, drinking. Some of them are gay, some of them are straight. But they had a pack of people with them. It was just a lot of fun, you know.
Nice.
But yeah, and my buddy got the autograph that says, "Who gives an F what your T-shirts say?" I'm like, dude, I got the shirt. He's like, hey, they signed it, gave it to me. It's mine.
Oh. On that note, I think we should end it.
Sounds good.
Time flew, brother. Thank you again for honoring us with this amazing show. Your
Thank you.
treasures. No,
Thank
your
you for
treasures,
inviting me. I
dude.
really appreciate it.
Dude,
I'm new to the community, so I appreciate the exposure.
Yeah. So if you guys are watching the replay, or if you're here live and you don't follow him. He has great content on his show, and then I can't wait for you to do that music thing, because I'll totally watch it. I don't even mind being on the show just to be on the background, just to hear these stories. But I'll be on the chat.
Just everything.
Geeking out, man. I want to be geeking out.
You're in Depeche Mode.
Yes. Oh, if you talk Depeche Mode, then yeah, you got me. But everybody, follow this guy if you're not following him. Sub him up on his Instagram, and then when he gets his YouTube going officially with this new content, which I think is amazing, check him out. John, can't wait to build some more Legos.
Thank you, everyone.
This show was, oh yeah. Yes, it was so much fun.
Thank you.
So everybody, thank you for chilling with us, showing us some love. John, you have a great Sunday. You have a great weekend. Everybody be safe. And let's just say bye to them. The floor is yours, John, just to say bye to everybody.
Just thank you for joining in, listening to me ramble on for an hour. Appreciate it. Hope to see you out there. Hope to meet you all someday.
Yes. All right. On that note, you guys stay safe, and see you later, guys.